Welcome back to Lexington, and welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Number 12, Tennessee, and number 2, Kentucky. Our Saturday primetime game presented by DirecTV, all a part of Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco. And this is a big-time rivalry, 2 teams in the SEC East, and this figures to be a great night of basketball tonight. For a preview, let's welcome in Aaron Andrews.
Dan, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Tennessee's Wayne Chisholm will not start tonight, but he will play in this game. Sprained his ankle last Tuesday, and he hasn't seen any sort of practice or any kind of basketball action since then. But what he's been on is the Indianapolis Colts Dwight Freeney kind of treatment. Of course, they're not playing him till game time. That's what they did with Freeney. They're also using some sort of E-stem that kind of works all the muscles around the ankle. Now, I talked to Wayne right before actually introductions here. He said he was good to go. Bruce Pearl says he just simply doesn't know how long he can use him for tonight.
Well, he's so important because of the size that Kentucky has, the likes of Cousins and Patterson. Look at the Tennessee lineup first with the Bobby May, Scotty Hobson, J.P. Prince on the perimeter, Ronaldo Woolridge, son of Orlando Woolridge, and Kenny Hall starting for Wayne Chisholm. John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, DeMarcus Cousins, 3 freshmen, but 3 sensational freshmen starting for Kentucky, along with Darnell Dotson making his 5th start of the season, and of course the junior Patrick Patterson. Tennessee has finished ahead of Kentucky 4 straight years. If they're going to do it in a 5th season, they've got to win tonight.
That was before JC, baby. That's before JC, before John Calipari arrived.
Tony Green, Antonio Petty, Ron Gruber are officials. A block on the inside by Hall, giving up a little bit of size, but he is a determined young man, gives a great effort.
They're going to have to control the tempo of the game, make each possession count. He said we're going to look for a quick shot. If we don't get that, we're going to use the clock.
Yeah. He said he doesn't want any shots in the middle of the shot clock. Either something easy early or use as much of the 35 as you can. Turnover. And Kentucky gives it right back. Shot clock never reset. Hobson slithers in. And it'll go out of bounds to Kentucky.
You know, Bruce Pearl, just like John Calipari, I believe their one word summarizes both guys. Masterful communicators. They really do a phenomenal job communicating with the athlete, with people, with recruiting, and that's a vital point for success.
Dodson in and out on the 3. Cousins is held, still grabbed the rebound. And it's 6'11", about 270. He's going to be a load on the inside for Tennessee.
Well, they lead the nation in rebounding. They got so much size on the inside. John Calipari said, we're not as good as my club 2 years ago at Memphis, but we have a chance to be better by the end of the year because of the size that we have.
On the wing in the backcourt, and of course Cousins and Patterson as well. Cousins getting better game by game, staying out of foul trouble, keeping his emotions in check, and putting up monster numbers as Bledsoe and Wall have a little miscommunication.
You know, Wall will turn the ball over at least 4 times a game. A lot of turnovers because he plays at such a high pace. I'll tell you what, with his ability, he can turn it over for me 4 or 5 times a game, and he can play any day of the week.
Would he still be your player of the year nationally if you were voting right now?
You know, I'll tell you what he has done for this program, where he's made so many people better. I think his greatest assets, not all his numbers, but the fact that he makes people around him better, he would be today my choice. He's been a difference maker, and to the victor goes the spoils. You win, I think you recognize guys that win.
Tennessee coming off a loss at Vandy Tuesday night, gave up 90 points in that game. Kentucky coming off a low-scoring 11-point win over Alabama on Tuesday night.
You know, Vanderbilt swept them, beat them twice this year, Tennessee.
Hall, bounce pass inside, Woolridge bobbles it. It'll be Tennessee ball, 20 on the shot clock.
Remember 2 years ago, game day, Memphis, Tennessee, and Mr. Calipari had a sad night. Bruce Pearl left with jubilation. Could it be deja vu?
That was number 2 Tennessee beating number 1 Memphis in Memphis. And of course, an undermanned Tennessee team during the height of the suspensions that they had in early January beat number 1 Kansas this year. A really inspired performance by the Volunteers, beating Kansas 76-68.
You know, it was amazing with 6 scholarship players that won 7 games in a row, December 31st to January 19th.
Starting to get some of those players back. We'll update the situation as time allows. Still looking for our first points, meanwhile, here tonight. Bledsoe, Patterson.
Transition game. Great penetration. Bledsoe gets a little bit lost in the shuffle because of the great play of Wall and Cousins, but he's a flat-out NBA player.
Mays turns it over for the Volunteers.
How good is Kentucky? Chad Ford rates. You ready for this? Number 1, Wall. Number 3, Cousins. Number 11, Patterson. And 20, Bledsoe. So he rates 4 of their players, starters, in the top 20 for the NBA draft.
3 of them freshmen, 1 of them a junior. Remains to be seen if any of them consider coming back. 23-1, ranked 2nd in the nation right now. The only loss was at South Carolina.
You know, Dan, whenever you blend in talent plus coaching plus motivation, it usually has a formula for success.
And Kentucky squarely back on the national map after the NIT last year. John Wall knocks down the long jumper. 4-0, Kentucky.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, he looked focused. I put it on my tweet. I tweeted, I said, he's focused. I met him here about 2 hours before the game. The look in his eye was when I'm ready to play.
The lights are shining bright here in Lexington tonight. Have been all day. How about better than 22,000 people at game day this morning, and now 24,000 here tonight.
You know what's amazing? Out of the 22,000 that were here, they hardly any of them have any tickets.
6-0. Bruce Pearl doesn't look like he's going to call a timeout. He looks calm. He's going to try to let his guys play through it. Wayne Chisholm getting ready to check in.
They have no shot unless Chisholm plays like an All-American tonight to neutralize that front court.
And another Tennessee turnover.
Tough defense by Kentucky. John Calipari's brought that defensive ability. Tennessee's 4th in the nation in turnover margin. They're going to be smart with the basketball.
Chisholm into the game. Along with him, Skylar McBee, a walk-on number 13 who can knock down shots. And a backup point guard, Melvin Goins, number 21. And Tennessee's gone into a zone. And we expected to see a lot of zone as they try to slow Kentucky down. Bledsoe, no. And it'll be Tennessee ball. Let's check in with Aaron Andrews.
Dan, all week Bruce Pearl was trying to tell his team, look, if you turn it over in this game, you might as well hum the da-da-da, da-da-da highlight reel, because that's probably going to make the top 10 on SportsCenter tonight.
I like that. Give me a little da-da-da. Come on, Aaron.
And the foul going against Cousins as Tony Green makes the call. A huge key for Kentucky. Can Cousins stay out of foul trouble? Can he keep his emotions in check? He's done a great job doing both. And this is a stat that's been talked about a lot. Per 40 minutes, Dick, Cousins averages 30 points and 19 rebounds. Obviously, he doesn't play 40 minutes, but he's up around 26-28 in conference play and putting up some big numbers.
You know, you talk about Wall Player of the Year. I had a coach tell me today. He said anonymously. I had a coach tell me if he were voting right now, he would vote for Cousins as Player of the Year in the conference, in the SEC.
Wayne Chisholm knocks it down, and finally Tennessee scores almost 4 minutes in. DeAndre Liggins into the game for Kentucky.
He's given him some good minutes, Liggins. He's earned himself some playing time. Strong defensively. Tell you, you're not going to get fans any more passionate than what you have here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Patterson strong inside, couldn't convert. And back comes Tennessee. They have weathered the early storm here tonight. Prince all the way, a little bit strong.
He's Mr. Versatility, Prince.
Great pass. Cousins couldn't handle it. Great save by Goins, and now the Vols race back the other way. And it's out of bounds to Kentucky as we go to our first media timeout of the night. A scary first 2 minutes or so for the Volunteers, but they knock down a 3 and back within 3. We're just getting warmed up here at Rupp. Dick, it was a constant stream of humanity into Rupp Arena this morning for game day. 22,144 for the game tonight. Better than 24,000. Kentucky leads the nation in attendance. I know you've said it more, but it bears repeating. There are fantastic basketball fans in so many cities across the country. But is there any college town in America where there's more passion than here?
I tell you, he can't dance at all. None whatsoever. He's got no rhythm. None whatsoever. Are you serious? Take a look at that dance step. But I will tell you this, passionate fans beyond belief. They are unbelievable here. They love their Cats so much. When they lose, this town might as well shut up.
Yep.
Shut down. Shut down.
They've lost one game all year, but you could have bet after the one loss, everybody was wondering, what's wrong with Kentucky? They expect perfection.
They were blaming Obama, the president.
That's
they were
right.
blaming the president.
Yeah, they're 0-1 when the president calls the team.
I'll tell you, it wasn't the president, it was Devin Downey's show. He put 30 on the board for South Carolina.
Cousins blocked from behind, very slow to get up and back into the play. And Chisholm will score. Cousins never got below the free throw line. He had a chance to get it back there and challenge that shot by Chisholm. And it's one of the things John Calipari worries about, not just with Cousins. Do they let up? Do they understand they have to play hard all the time and they can't just rely on their talent? What a steal by J.P. Prince.
Mr. Versatility.
How about Tennessee coming back from a 6-0 deficit at the start, now to take the lead?
Tell you one thing, keep in mind, Tennessee's 14-0 when they hold teams under 40%. And the one thing that you look at Kentucky, they will turn the ball over. They will turn it over. Tries the cross-court pass, steps right in the passing lane, gets himself the easy layup. He makes like Tayshaun Prince.
Cousins coming out, Dick, and he was limping a little bit when he had that shot blocked and he got knocked to the court. Injured his left leg and now getting some medical attention on the Kentucky bench.
Well, the one thing about Tennessee, a better club defensively than they've been, they're making teams shoot 39%, which is 18th in the nation.
And you're going to see a lot of zone from them tonight. Touch foul on McBee will send Wall to the line. And in some pretty serious discomfort right there is DeMarcus Cousins. Let's see if we can take a look. Left leg. Right there, kind of got it caught over the leg of Prince as he fell to the court.
John Wall certainly has lived up to the billing coming out of high school. Everybody rated him so high. Came here, lived up to all expectations. He's been clutching some big moments. Was really clutch against Connecticut. Hey, by the way, Connecticut, UCLA, and North Carolina, they may not be part of the tournament. And that'll be the first time all three, if they're not in. 1966 was the last time.
And the longest active streak belongs to Arizona. And they're in trouble. So you could have some real blue blood programs. Arizona, Connecticut, North Carolina, UCLA, all of them in jeopardy of missing the tournament.
Hey, 1966. Wait a minute, I'm reminded. That's the year Kentucky finished second in the nation. Got beat by Texas El Paso.
7 national championships for the Kentucky Wildcats. 13 Final Fours, the winningest program in a college basketball history, better than 2,000
Unbelievable.
wins.
It was actually Texas Western at that time. Right. Beat Pat Riley and company, Larry Conley.
At the line, Goins, one of the 4 players suspended for the incident on January the 1st. Goins, just as of yesterday, had all charges dismissed against him. It was initially a traffic violation, and it got worse quickly from there. Tyler Smith pled guilty yesterday to possession of a firearm. He was dismissed from the program. 3 other players suspended. They're all back now, although Cameron Tatum is out with a bad ankle.
There's John Wall trying to challenge him on the inside. Hey, anytime you got a combination, as you're watching the drive right here, the kick out.
Goins thought about it, defended by Wall. Kenny Hall blocked by Daniel Orton. So much size for Kentucky. They are the biggest team in the country. Average height 6'7", with some tremendous wingspans as well.
You know, Daniel Horton's going to become a star. When he gets playing time next year, a lot of minutes, you're going to look for him to become a special player.
Good ball movement. Patterson from the baseline with an air ball.
He shoots 58% for the year.
Kenny Hall goes tumbling to the court. He's all right. Goins puts it up. How about Tennessee?
Tell you, Goins, you don't really count on him from him. He counts for his quickness, his defensive ability. There's that 2-3 zone. He's Pearl wheeling the magic. He told us before the game, we're going to zone. He's wearing the orange jacket, man. He only wears it for special games.
That's
Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
You can see Cousins getting some work done on that left leg. Tennessee is on a 12-1 run.
And he wears that in memory of the late Ray Mears, former coach. He did a great job.
Aaron, what do you got?
Well, as you guys can see, DeMarcus Cousins still getting worked on by UK's training staff. Now, while they're working on his kind of like left upper thigh area, guys, he's been stretching out his back the whole time. He took what it looked to be some aspirin, and actually he's running back in to try to check in right now, guys.
All right, Aaron. Great stuff. Thank you. So Cousins back in. Orton goes to the bench. The Tennessee foul on Skylar McBee, his second. He goes out. as you look at the numbers for Cousins, this is what we talked about. Per 40 minutes, all of these numbers would lead the country. He's on a streak of 7 consecutive double-doubles, all of them coming in SEC play.
He's got 15 for the season. He's a wide body inside with great touch.
Liggins with great touches. He knocks down the three.
You talk about a kid that's really getting some confidence and becoming a contributor, earning his playing time. He flat out earned it because he was way down in terms of minutes earlier this year.
Now a block by Liggins. Really giving them a spark off the bench, running the court. Wall sees him. And Liggins threw it out of bounds.
Hey, what about this, John Calipari? Over the last 5 years, my friend, Mr. Calipari's 160 and 15.
Wow. Getting an early battle from the underdog Tennessee Volunteers here in the early going at Rupp Arena. John Calipari, this is the 3rd different program he has led to the #1 ranking in the nation. It started back at UMass in 1995-1996, a team led by Marcus Camby that would eventually make the Final Four. Then at Memphis just a couple of years ago, they also got to #1. Took them a while, as you would expect with both those programs, to get to #1. It's not supposed to come that quickly, but here in his very first season at Kentucky, he has led the Cats to the #1 ranking. After the South Carolina loss, they dropped. They're #2 in the coaches poll, #3 in the media poll right now. But boy, they are as talented as any team in the country. And you can see how long it took them at UMass and how long they lasted at #1. That was a great team that he had at UMass. And then Memphis a couple of years ago, they were #1 until Tennessee. Bruce Pearl beat them on that Saturday night game we had 2 years ago. Didn't take him very long to get the Wildcats to #1.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's at a program where we have all the resources. When you look at their practice facilities and you look at the fan interest, the fan excitement. I mean, if he can't get it done here, I don't think anybody would be able to. This guy is very similar to a guy down the road by the name of Mr. Pitino. And forget those rumors about the Nets for Pitino or for Calipari. And certainly for Mike Krzyzewski. I got a better chance of replacing Brad Pitt as the sexiest man in Hollywood.
So that's no chance, then you say.
Krzyzewski going to the Nets. Give me a break.
Bobby Mays at the point, defended by Wall. This is Scotty Hobson. He's from nearby Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Got a lot of fans, friends, family in the house as he gets the teardrop to go.
Tell you one thing, he was Mr. Basketball. Have had some success with people out of Kentucky. What about Chris Lofton?
Yep.
And what about Allen Houston? He had his dad there with him, Wade, as well. But those guys came from Kentucky and went to Tennessee.
Hobson didn't practice yesterday. Flu-like symptoms, but evidently feeling a little bit better today. And in there, getting some big minutes as a starter. Can be a big score for Tennessee. Liggins, they play on. It'll be Wall for 3.
They're sending the message loud and clear, Tennessee. If you're going to beat us, you're going to have to beat us from the perimeter.
Playing a lot of zone in the early going. Patterson inside for his 2nd field goal of the night.
Well, terrific job getting in the gap of the zone and finding the open guy rather than trying to shoot over the top. Get some good offensive efficiency if you attack gaps and seams in the zone.
Stephen Pearl, Bruce Pearl's son, into the game, number 22. He's a walk-on, very physical player, good defender. One of a number of guys, Dick, who started getting minutes after the suspensions and has stayed in the rotation.
Tell you mentioned that suspension, it's unbelievable. Anytime you get a combination of a gun, alcohol, and drugs, you got an absolute disaster ready to happen.
Resulted in the dismissal of Tyler Smith, who, as we mentioned, pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm. Brian Williams pleaded guilty to possession of marijuana, suspended 9 games, just reinstated earlier this week. Cameron Tatum pled guilty to speeding, paid a fine. He missed 4 games. And Melvin Goins had all charges dismissed, but he still missed 4 games as well as Orton lays it in for the Cats.
Orton gets the loose ball and gets himself an easy deuce. What is the thinking of someone like Tyler Smith and these kids? I mean, a great opportunity, a great school they're playing at, wearing a uniform with pride, and to give that up, absolutely, unbelievably immature.
And Tyler Smith was as good a player as Tennessee had. First team All-SEC caliber performer, and right after the suspensions, in the 2nd game after the suspensions without all these guys, is when they beat Kansas.
Wow.
Incredible, but it started wearing on them a little bit, and they've had some nagging injuries as well. They're a good team, 18-5, 6-3 in the league, and they do now have Williams, Goins, and Tatum back, although Tatum's got a sprained ankle. Williams not yet really in game shape as Mays commits Tennessee's 5th turnover of the night.
Hey, Dan, I hope those kids take advantage of a second opportunity, because really, if they weren't athletes, they probably wouldn't get that second opportunity. So I hope they take advantage of it.
And that was Tatum in street clothes on the bench, nursing a sprained ankle, missing his 2nd game in a row. Good battle between Pearl and Cousins. Pearl's only 6'6", but again, very physical, and he'll give as good as he gets.
Well, he's going to play his heart out. He better, because he's trying to put some bread on the table for his father.
Nice move by Darius Miller, who's been in a scoring slump and has lost his starting job.
He had a big game last year against Tennessee. They beat him twice, and he had a big game, Miller. Had a big game when we had him against Florida.
Chisholm misses a deep 3, but a long rebound and back to the Vols.
Chisholm's a guy that can go inside, outside. Bruce Pearl told me he's the most improved player from the beginning of the year to now that he's had in many years coaching. Can't wait to see them Thursday night. You and I have them against the Hoyas at Georgetown.
That'll be fun down at the Verizon Center. Maybe it'll stop snowing by then at some point.
And Saturday, I go down with Vanderbilt. I can't wait to go down to Vandy. Kentucky comes to Vandy. That's going to be really a big game.
Good offensive rebound and effort by Wayne Chisholm as he draws the foul. Number 2 on Daniel Orton. That'll get Patrick Patterson back into the game.
Chisholm now playing his 129th game. The school record is 130 by Rob Jones back in the mid-'80s. I got a feeling he's going to get that record.
And there are the numbers on Chisholm. Last 3 games, some big numbers, including a 30-point game last week for Chisholm. That came against South Carolina. He had 16 rebounds in a game against Vandy. As you said, he can score inside or outside, plays good defense, can shoot the 3, and a really engaging young man as well.
You know, Bruce Pearl's brought so much fire down there. Obviously, Pat Summitt and he are very close. Pat Summitt's numbers, I was looking at him, over 1,000 wins, 18 Final Fours, and 8 national titles. Incredible.
Couple of missed free throws for Chisholm. He's a 78% free throw shooter on the season.
Yeah, you got to convert those. You're on the road playing against the number 2 team in America. You got to get all the charity you can. There's that matchup zone. They don't play much zone. They're normally a man-to-man club.
Wall on the bench right now for Kentucky. Bledsoe at the point. This is him on the wing right now. Patterson, Chisholm got a hand on it. Patterson working hard to get it back. And he draws the foul. Outstanding effort by Patrick Patterson.
Well, he did a terrific job keeping the ball alive. Very active inside. Played on a high school level with O.J. Mayo. What a duo they must have been. Out in West Virginia. There he is. Look at the great effort now. Keep it alive. Play a little volleyball. And use that big body. He's got great touch. 58% he shoots.
Foul on Ronaldo Woolridge, his first. Here's what John Calipari has to say about Patterson. He said that senior year in high school, you talked about O.J. Mayo, so Patterson kind of deferred, was kind of the number 2 guy. Jody Meeks taking a lot of shots last couple of years, so Patterson kind of deferred to him. And now, at times, not as involved as Calipari would like him to be because of Wall and Cousins. He says he needs Patrick Patterson to go out and just get after it, try to be the man and see what happens.
Shows you the depth of Kentucky and how they changed as a personality, as a team, when he becomes like the 4th option. Think about that.
It's amazing.
I mean, you got Wall, Bledsoe, and Cousins. He got a 4th option.
Chisholm had it blocked. Tennessee gets it back. But they can't convert. Back comes Bledsoe.
Bledsoe's a tough kid. He's got a lot of tenacity.
Cousins right over and through Prince for the follow slam.
He's a man. He's an absolute man. A dominator. He might not only be the best diaper dandy big man in America, he might be the best big man in America. I know they're screaming down in Kansas. We have Aldridge.
Air ball by Mays. The slam by Cousins has just about blown the roof off of Rupp Arena.
I love Rupp Arena. I love these fans. I love the horse farms. I love coming down here when you go to Claymore. You got to go to the horse farms with me, buddy. They're beautiful.
Well, some beautiful basketball if you're a Kentucky fan the last couple of minutes. Tennessee's in a drought. Cousins asserting himself in this game. Hi, Ryan. Thank you. Well, a win by Kansas. They will stay at number 1. Kentucky's at 2 right now. West Virginia's going to drop. Lost a couple of games this week, so Villanova figures to move up. But it looks like if Kansas could win that one, if Kentucky could win this one, 1, 2, and 3 would remain the same. As you said, we've got Syracuse, Georgetown coming up Thursday night. That'll be great.
Hey, what about the win by Duke today? Incredible performance at home. Their numbers are unbelievable. I really believe a lot of that's due to the Cameron Crazies getting the most out of the kids. Shire, Singler, what about Zubin? 16 points, 17 rebounds. They dominated the Turks.
Easily the best game he's had at Duke. Stolen by McBee. Look-ahead pass for Prince.
Nice pass.
And Chisholm with a slam.
Chisholm gets the deuce, but there's the versatility of Prince. He's right up there as a leader in assists, the turnover ratio, steals.
3 assists already for Prince, who of course is the cousin of former Kentucky star Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun Prince, such an outstanding collegiate, now starring with the Detroit Pistons.
The zone is giving Kentucky some problems. Another Wildcat turnover.
Well, lack of patience. Got to have some poise and patience against the zone.
Prince spins inside. Woolridge, air ball.
His daddy was quite a player, played for Digger Phelps,
right.
Orlando Woolridge.
Spinning wall, and he'll shoot a couple. Let's check in again with Aaron Andrews.
Dan, during that last timeout, Tennessee's Bruce Pearl, as you can see here, wasn't so quiet or patient with his assistants. Then he went over to tell his team, look, I need you to be aggressive. We're fine here. But he also talked about Kentucky and the fact they've got a few offensive rebounds that have led to baskets. He has also said, guys, if you're going to be patient, I want you to be patient and drive the ball to the basket. Don't settle for these sloppy jump shots here. So he got his guys fired up, as you saw the steal there.
Both guys rely so much on motivation and inspiration. They really reach down for players to play with intensity, with passion, as Aaron said. And I think it's their personality reflects the people that they represent. And they're at schools where they're going to get quality players.
That's right. This is a rivalry that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
They got a great new kid going to be going to Tennessee from Long Island, Tobias Harris, a super guy rated one of the top power forwards in America.
Goins at the point.
See, there's the patience. They're trying to shorten the game a little bit, reduce the number of possessions that Kentucky can have the basketball.
Chisholm, good position. Off the back of the rim, another rebound for Cousins, his 6th of the night already.
I don't think there's any doubt he's going to have double-double in terms of, when you look at rebounding totals. Oh, yes, Mr. Wong. Averaging about 16 a game, 6 assists a game. Makes big shots, makes defenses have to really focus on him, and it opens up passing lanes to other people.
So the lead back up to 8. Kentucky led 6-0, and then Tennessee went up 12-7, but now a 17-4 run for the Wildcats. Since then, this is their largest lead of the night.
You know, Dan, that's been one of their trademarks all year. Spurtability, as Clark Kellogg would say. Great spurts. They had a 28-2 spurt earlier this year against North Carolina.
Now they've pulled some games out. Barely beat Miami of Ohio, Stanford, and others earlier in the season as Hobson knocks down the long 2.
They need that out of Hobson. They need some scoring out of him. Mr. Basketball out of Kentucky. He's playing for little bragging rights as well.
Wayne Chisholm called for the foul, trying to defend Cousins.
Great having Jim Calhoun back, doing what he loves, coaching, but they were embarrassing according to Jim today. Only scored 48 points at home to Cincinnati.
Offensive foul, Patrick Patterson, his first.
You know, Kentucky leads the nation in rebound margin, 10.2, and they're +4 that's for tonight. That size is so impressive.
6'11" Cousins, 6'9" Patterson, 6'7" Dodson, 6'4" Wall as your point guard.
And then you put 2 first-rounders on the perimeter in Wall and Bledsoe.
No basket. Chisholm knocked down a 3, but there was a foul before the shot, I believe, on Patterson. So a couple of quick ones on Patterson, but the 3 was nullified. It's the 7th team foul on Kentucky, so Tennessee to the line.
Ron Groover with the call.
Into the line is Goins, junior out of San Diego. Played in junior college last year. Just 59% from the line on the season.
He's a driver and a slasher. Be my Valentine. Hey, what are you going to do Valentine's Day? I'm taking my wife to see Gladys Knight, take her for some dinner, get her some roses.
Wow.
Tomorrow night, a little Motown sound.
Wow. You arranged all that by yourself?
Yeah, I'm going with my buddy Joe Barbetta and
Joe
company.
Barbetta arranged all that. Okay, there we go.
And his wife Mary.
Way to go, Joe. Way to save Dick's bacon again. Goins knocks him down. Tennessee hanging around in this game, Dick.
Tell you what, miss. Every time I used to come, I used to see Jerry Healy. Lost his life, a big donor to the V Foundation. Son Kelly now involved. He's a terrific Kentucky fan for years.
Perry Stevenson into the game for the first time for Kentucky. Number 21, a starter a year ago. Another offensive rebound for Cousins.
There's that big size, that wide body, strength, touch. John Calipari's done an amazing job with him, getting him to understand how to control his emotions. That's been a dilemma on a scholastic level it was, and when he initially arrived here.
Chisholm gets the bounce, knocks down another three. Bledsoe's floater, in and out, rebound Hall. And Tennessee with the ball down only 3 here to Rupp. Cousins appears to have been shaken up again. The leg may be bothering him again. Can it be saved? No. Over and back on the Vols. And Dick, let's check out DeMarcus Cousins. Did he aggravate that leg injury? There's the tip, and landed awkwardly.
Tell you one thing, he plays hard. He really does. Uses that whole wide body, very strong physically. Talk about physicality.
He'll sit down. Daniel Orton back into the game. Orton, another member of the freshman class, but playing behind Cousins, not getting that many minutes.
You know, when you think about Kentucky, in the past, guys like Harris and Stevenson, they all played so many minutes.
Yep.
But with the arrival of these freshmen, it's really been taken away from them.
3 freshman starters. Again, the zone from Tennessee. Dodson a little out of control, and he turned it over.
Totally out of control.
Yep.
Same right here.
Goins better slow down.
Wow, he gets a score out of that. He gets a score out of it. They're waving it off.
An offensive foul on Goins. So Dodson with a bad decision at one end, Goins with a bad decision at the other end. But we'll step aside late in the first half here at Rupp. Tennessee and Kentucky getting after it. It's a 3-point lead for the Cats. As DeMarcus Cousins sits down for Kentucky, possibly aggravating the leg injury he suffered earlier in the half. So Orton is in the game. The Volunteers stay in the zone. That has really helped slow down the Wildcats. Wall misses the corner 3. McBee the rebound for Tennessee.
You know, Dan, you're right on it about slowing down the Wildcats. It also slows the pace of the game. 5 possessions, they have taken the ball down to less than 10 seconds on the clock before they've shot the basketball.
And Dick, the Vols have 2 walk-ons in the game right now. Number 13, Skylar McBee. Number 22, Stephen Pearl, the coach's son. Hobson for 3. McBee runs it down. The shot clock reset, although the ball didn't hit the rim. And now they're going to change that.
You know, McBee hit that big 3 at the end of the game against Kansas. I don't think he'll ever forget that. You guarantee he will tell that to his grandchildren about one of the greatest shots ever to be the #1 team in the nation.
They've gotten great mileage out of guys they didn't expect to have to play a whole lot this year, like McBee and like Pearl, guys who forced their way, or not forced their way, became a part of the rotation after the suspensions and played well enough that they have stayed in there. McBee got some other scholarship offers, places like Santa Clara. Marshall decided to walk on at Tennessee, and Stephen Pearl wanted to play for his dad. Mays doesn't shoot much, but he knocks it down. Tennessee has tied it.
He averages 8 points a game. Mays, good defensive player, and very active in that 2-3. They're not going to come out of it till Kentucky can show they can beat it.
Miller, no. Rebound, McBee. How about this?
They got to show some patience offensively.
Mays, nice crossover. Nice recovery by Miller for the block. And the foul on Skylar McBee, his 3rd. Cousins back into the game and now for Kentucky.
They've done a great job keeping Kentucky away from transition. They've done a terrific job, Bruce Pearl's club, slowing the pace of the game down, as we talked about earlier. Tempo will be valuable for Tennessee.
And And to the line goes John Wall. 1-1 for Wall.
One and done for Wall, too. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Of course, 2 years ago, Derrick Rose, point guard, played for John Calipari to Memphis 1 year. Drafted first overall by Chicago, wins Rookie of the Year. Last year, Tyreke Evans at Memphis, 1 great year. Drafted 4th overall by Sacramento, leading candidate for Rookie of the Year.
And I'll guarantee you the recruiting process, he's in a battle right now for Brandon Knight. He's letting him know about that as well.
Yep. Prince off to Hobson.
Knight's from back in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, one of the great high school players. Nice drive to the goal.
And a great job by Pearl
Screening.
to body out to screen Cousins and allow that path to the basket.
You know, you talk about a kid who gets maximum visibility. Is the kid Pearl. He comes out, he fights, he scraps defensively, limited offensively. See the zones makes you slow down the game. That slows the pace, the tempo.
That's exactly what Tennessee wanted to do.
And it slows down Mr. Wall, number 11, who's dynamite in transition.
Stepping out of bounds is Stevenson, a Kentucky turnover.
Stevenson played a lot of minutes last year. Little talking going on right now between Cousins and Mr. Prince.
Pearl screen got Mays to the goal. 5 points now for Mays. Chisholm is the high scorer in the game for either team. The Tennessee big man has 10.
It's amazing. He had 10 come off the bench, the ankle injury.
He's knocked down a couple of threes tonight. And again, they're taking the air out of the ball, working the shot clock down toward and eventually underneath 10.
And they're slowing down that attack in Kentucky when they're 8th in the nation offensively.
Nice two-man game. A charge on Chisholm, and he is down and shaken up.
Remember, he's got the ankle injury, didn't start the game. That could be a major play, could really affect the whole game.
The original injury suffered Tuesday was a right ankle sprain.
Has not practiced since that game when they got beat by Vanderbilt. In fact, Vanderbilt swept them this year.
Wow, well, the right foot never hit the ground, so maybe this is something new entirely. So that's dangerous looking play. And Chisholm looks like reaching for his back a little bit as he walks somewhat gingerly over to the Tennessee bench.
I think we're going to see him back in this game.
And Chisholm's mom here looking on with some concern at Rupp Arena. This is such a valuable player for them, especially with Tyler Smith dismissed from the program. We had double technicals assessed. J.P. Prince of Tennessee, DeMarcus Cousins of Kentucky.
Well, I told you they were talking a minute ago.
Yeah.
They were talking to each other, shooting not the breeze.
No, not that. And Cousins, the guys had trouble keeping his emotions in check, and other players know that. They try to get under his skin.
He's got to learn to keep quiet and just play basketball.
Liggins with an offensive foul. The charge taken by Kenny Hall. I tell you, Bruce Pearl has got to be thrilled with the way the first half has gone so far.
Well, he's got to be thrilled with the zone being effective and also with the way they've controlled tempo in the game. Coming off that fast-paced game against Vanderbilt where they got blown out. Kid Taylor, 26 points. They got a good team. Kevin Stallings done a heck of a job with that program.
Beal and Ogilvie as well. Reach-in foul by Bledsoe. Number 2 on him. Mays will head to the line for Tennessee.
That's not going to be an easy game. You guarantee it going to Vanderbilt. They got that Memorial Magic down there. They like to wheel.
2 shots coming from Mays. Double bonus both ways.
Transfer came the route of Oklahoma. Prince came the route of Arizona.
Here comes Liggins back into the game for Bledsoe. John Calipari talking to his star freshman John Wall. As Mays knocks down the second and Tennessee takes a 1-point lead. Timeout, Kentucky. We'll step aside, final minute of the first half, and the underdog has the lead. Back here at Rupp Arena, Dan Schulman and Dick Vitale, Aaron Andrews and the Game Day Gang. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV, a part of Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco. Wayne Chisholm trying to walk off his latest injury. He's a banged-up young man right now, but he has still scored 10 points, knocked down a couple of threes. What can Kentucky do to get this game back at their pace?
Well, they're going to really do it with their defense. They got to start forcing turnovers and get themselves in transition, get some layups. Right now, it's become a half-court game, and that's what Tennessee wants to make it, a half-court game. They're going to rotate into man now. Came out of the zone. And back into the zone.
Liggins off balance, draws the foul, and will shoot a couple.
See the name Louisville, I think of Rick Pitino, and I think of an amazing job he did here in the mid-90s. He could have really possibly had 3 national titles in a row. Lost in 97 to Arizona, played without Anderson, a superstar player.
Won it in 96 and then 98, Toby Smith won.
Exactly,
Yeah.
could have won 3 in a row. He brought magic to this program.
Tennessee can hold for the final shot.
And that magic has returned under the name Calipari. They got something in common. They're both like lasagna.
Good pressure by Wall. Mays eludes him, 5 seconds.
He's a pretty good handler, Mays.
And the first half will come to a close with Kentucky, despite not making a field goal for the last 4:48, leading by a point over Tennessee as we update our Star Watch and send you over to Aaron Andrews.
Thanks, Dan. Coach, why has Tennessee been able to hang around in this first half?
Well, they're milking the clock, and they're making some tough shots down the stretch, but we're just doing a poor job versus zone. They're in a 3-2 zone. We're not recognizing the holes we're trying to get to, but we'll talk about it at halftime. Hopefully we'll come out and play a little bit better against the zone.
That was my second question. What adjustment do you make against the zone?
We better make something, or this is going to get ugly in a hurry, because we're not playing very well versus the zone. Part of it is the guys that are open got to shoot balls. We're still, throwing balls to guys open, and they want to hesitate and try to make a play versus just score the ball. So we'll get better.
All right, Cal, thanks. All right, Dan.
Thank you, Aaron. 1 point a game, Kentucky 30. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. We're here at Rupp Arena. This is Saturday Night Primetime, presented by DirecTV. All a part of Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco. 24,000 plus here at Rupp. They got to be a little bit concerned right now, though, Dick. I mean, Kentucky did not handle that zone well at all.
Well, they had a lot of trouble with the zone. I think the zone really did 2 things. Number one, it slowed the pace of the game down, made Kentucky take shots they didn't want to. And also, third factor, it neutralized the great driving ability of John Wall. On the other side, offensively, Tennessee's in the game because they have done a great job of utilizing the shot clock and really reducing the possessions of the game. I think the key against Kentucky is you got to keep them out of transition.
Let's get some second half thoughts now from Aaron Andrews. EA?
Well, Dan, a little change up here for Tennessee. Wayne Chisholm will start the second half, according to head coach Bruce Pearl. Now, what he did was he hurt his hip when he fell here in the first half. He says it's okay, but what he told me they're going to do is if the game gets away from Tennessee, they're going to take him out. But if they continue to stay in this game, they're going to keep him in. Of course, Chisholm dealing with an ankle problem, now a hip issue. Key for the second half for Tennessee, keep rebounding the ball, and Dick mentioned it, they're going to stay with that zone.
Pretty impressive. Kentucky's the #1 rebounding team in the country, and almost even in the first half, Kentucky out rebounding Tennessee by only 2.
Tell you one thing, Bledsoe's got to get going as well. He's 0 for 3.
Yeah. And John Wall in the first half did not have an assist. He did score 9 points, but no assist for Wall, who's second in the country at 6.6 a game.
Bledsoe did a great job against Florida when I had him earlier this year. Had a terrific game shooting the basketball. And what about Florida playing Xavier today? The scheduling's down. Xavier now? And they get beat at home.
Shot clock running down. Missed 3 by Hobson. Rebound Cousins. His 8th rebound already today. Wall from 15. No. Boy, that would have been something else by Cousins. Couldn't convert it. But they do retain possession.
See, here it is again. 5 on 5. You got a chance against them if you can make them play 5 against 5.
You got to believe that Kentucky's not going to see man-to-man defense the rest of the season. Teams are playing more and more zone against them. It has really slowed them down.
They've actually shot the ball fairly well against the zone earlier this year. A kid like Dotson's capable of making some threes.
Look at this shot.
Shot that from Louisville.
Just a desperation heave with about 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Mays gets the switch, drives by Patterson, lays it in.
Poor job defensively. No one rotated over. Mays goes right to the basket, unmolested. I mean, nobody even comes over to put a hand on him. There's that zone, slowing it down. I'll tell you one thing, John Wall doesn't like that zone. He'd rather have a game going up and down the floor.
Dodson with a three.
He's the guy, I tell you, very capable of making those threes. Going on the street, came out of junior college, another new player.
Chisholm a miss at the other end, rebound Wall. Now they're going to look to push.
Shot the ball too quickly, Chisholm.
Got to be a travel, and it is. Good hands by J.P. Prince.
John Wall not happy with the call, but that was a definitely good call.
Third turnover committed tonight by Wall.
He's got the ball. Definitely picks up his pivot foot. So he might get away with that next year in the NBA. They might allow him to get an extra step.
Cousins has gone to the bench 2 minutes into the second half. Orton has come in for him.
Could be that foot.
Knocked away by Bledsoe. And the lay-in for the freshman.
He's a tenacious competitor. Came out of Alabama. Can you imagine if all these kids went to Memphis and Calipari stayed there?
Hobson, blocked.
See, I think the game's starting to speed up a little too quick now, Dan. Starting to get a little too fast. Oh, what a sloppy play there.
And Hobson's going to get a freebie. He lays it in.
Mr. Basketball from Kentucky said no to the Wildcats. Chris Lofton, on the other hand, who went to Tennessee, was a star. He didn't have the opportunity to go to Kentucky.
I'll tell you, both coaches are working hard on their sidelines, stomping and screaming at their players.
Are you shocked?
No.
Not at all. Very emotional, very passionate.
The orange blazer out for Bruce Pearl. Only wears it against Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Crowd wanted a foul as Wall couldn't convert. And now it's out of bounds off Tennessee.
Wow. He wears that jacket in memory of Ray Mears. Passed away in 2007, did a phenomenal job. Had the Bernie and Ernie show.
That's right.
Bernard King, Ernie Grunfeld.
Bernard King spoke to the Tennessee team a couple of days ago. When Bernard King played for Tennessee, they lost their first game in his career here at Kentucky, and he vowed never to lose again to Kentucky. And the other 5 times he played the Wildcats in his career, Tennessee won every one of them. Bernard King spoke to the team Thursday, and he said, hey, we're not losing to Kentucky on Saturday night.
Well, they told John Calipari that he spoke to the team. He said he could speak all day to the team as long as he doesn't play.
What did Bruce Pearl tell us? Not so worried about the first shot. It's the second one that concerns him. And we saw that there from Orton. Mays, another three.
That's big out of Bobby Mays.
Mays just 21% from beyond the arc on the season, has knocked down 2 tonight.
Gonna watch the offensive rebound here. Watch the second shot. There it is. There's the jam. And you're right. Bruce Pearl told us before the game, I'm not worried about the first shot. I'm worried about the second and third. They lead the nation in rebounding. Look at Bruce. You talk about being animated. He won a Division II national title, and they were down 30-8 against University of California in Riverside. And that's the biggest comeback in a national title game, whether it be Division I or II, and they won 71-69.
That was at Southern Indiana as John Wall gets inside. One of the few times we have seen Wall able to penetrate against that zone.
I will never forget, you sat next to me. We were in awe in the last 4 minutes against Connecticut at Madison Square Garden. Wall was absolutely sensational. You look at Chisholm.
Chisholm with that back or hip problem. And when he goes out, they lose his outside shooting. And they also bring in Kenny Hall, who's smaller than Chisholm. So Hall's got to work against the likes of Orton or Cousins or somebody like that, giving up a lot of size. Hall's only 6'8", 220.
And the problem's compounded because of the loss of Tyler Smith, dismissed from the team.
Yet they're within 2 here at Rupp.
They're making Kentucky play defense on each possession.
Hobson with a good cut, good find by Prince, and Hobson will be shooting a couple of free throws when we come back to Lexington. They continue to work on Tennessee star Wayne Chisholm. Can they get him back into the game here for the Vols? Wayne Chisholm was one of the big stories coming to this game tonight. The Tennessee star, who sprained an ankle Tuesday at Vandy, was questionable to play tonight. Did not start, but did come in early in the first half and started doing one of the things he does best, knocking down shots. He got to the rim as well. 10 points in the first half for Wayne Chisholm, but just when it looked like all was going well for Chisholm, this injury, his right hip, sat out the last couple of minutes of the first half, getting some work done right now. What's the latest, Aaron?
Well, Dan, the good news is Wayne Chisholm went back to Tennessee's huddle during that timeout, but for a good 4 to 5 minutes, he was on the ground right here with the Vols trainers just really stretching out that hip. I watched the trainer, he kept saying to Wayne, just relax, just relax. And remember, Bruce Pearl telling me that, you know, as long as Tennessee hangs in this game and if Wayne Chisholm can go, they're going to keep him in the game. But as soon as they don't have a chance, they're going to pull him out. He's stretching out right here, Dan. I'm sure he's trying to give it a go.
You know, he had a little help certainly when he had Tyler Smith. You know the difference? Think about it. They were averaging 81 points a game when Tyler Smith was there. Down to 71 now. So all they've got to do is change their style of play a little, and that's what they're doing.
And another guy they're missing, he's back, but he's not really playing much, is Brian Williams, 6'10", 280-pound junior from the Bronx. One of the guys suspended, missed 9 games. Played 2 minutes in their loss Tuesday at Vandy, but not in game shape. Hasn't really been a part of the team for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and not yet ready to be a major contributor, which he was. He was a pretty good contributor for them before the suspension.
Well, again, big wide body on the inside. Hey, a lot of Kentucky favorites here tonight. Kenny Walker, Jack Givens, Kyle Macy, Jody Meeks, Chuck Hayes, all in the house. Came back to see their cat.
Just a bit of tradition here in the Kentucky basketball program. Patterson, and he's fouled.
Great hands right there by Patterson. You know what it tells me? One thing, these NBA guys, here it's NBA weekend. You think they're worried about the All-Star game at all? They're back to their alma mater, man. They strut here like big men on campus. And you can play here, you are a big man in this city.
And look who's coming back in. You saw Wayne Chisholm getting ready to check back in as Patterson goes to the line. On pace to graduate in 3 years. He's a junior. Will he go to the NBA? There was some talk he would go last year, came back, and has really allowed the freshman, if need be, to take over at times. He has not put his ego before that of the team, and he has blended in. Maybe has blended in a little bit too much, if you ask John Calipari.
You know, Dan, you mentioned him going to the NBA. The one thing that's really important here at Kentucky, there's no rebuilding to the following year. And if they lose the 4 guys we mentioned that are charted to be first-round choices, Wall and Bledsoe, Cousins, and Patterson, they better load up with some recruits.
Yep.
They better load up. They can't think about down the road. They got to think about next year.
Prince all the way, and the lefty scoops it up and in.
A poor job. John Calipari's got to be very upset with the defensive effort. Nobody stopped the ball. First requisite is stop the ball.
Well, minute by minute, possession by possession, the Volunteers have to be getting more and more confident about their ability to win this game. And a foul on Hall for the bump on Wall.
Tell you the one thing that zone has done, it's taken away the driving ability of John Wall. Take a look at Prince right here. Here he goes to the goal, the left-hander kisses it on the glass. I like those versatile guys. Multi-dimensional, he steals the basketball, he passes it, he can score, he can drive.
Pearl back into the game. So again, for the second time tonight, Dick, we see a Tennessee team on the road at the #2 team in the country, playing with 2 walk-ons in the game. Skylar McPhee, Stephen Pearl. Wall drives and scores.
That's his game, baby. That's his game. Take it to the rack. Drive. The dribble drive offense negated a little bit about his zone.
And Wall now the high scorer in the game with a dozen.
He's got a quiet dozen, doesn't he?
3 for 9. Still does not have an assist in the game.
See, notice that? Shorten the game, slow the tempo down, use the shot clock.
Looking for Chisholm.
Play with some good basketball IQ.
Chisholm can bowl Cousins away from the basket. Shot clock at 3. Goins with a deep 3.
How is that for being offensively effective? You talk about efficiency. Run the clock down and to make a 3 out of a guy that's not really a long-range shooter.
Tennessee now has made 6 threes in this game. That was part of the formula in the win over Kansas. They made 9 in that game.
Tell you one thing, in their 5 losses, they only made 22 for 84 on the threes. Here it is, they got 6 already. I mean, they shot 26% in the losses.
Number 3 on Chisholm.
Here's using the whole shot clock, and then Goins lets it fly. He should be pumping that chest, man. He feels good. Feels really good about himself.
DeMarcus Cousins will step to the line after the 3rd foul on Wayne Chisholm. We'll keep an eye on that.
A lot of teams have been struggling at home. When you think about, for example, West Virginia got beat by Villanova at home. Texas got beat by Kansas at home. Michigan State gets beat by Purdue at home. I mean, a lot of teams really struggled at home. Wisconsin gets beat by Illinois at home.
2 missed free throws by DeMarcus Cousins. He's only got 4 points tonight. Does have 9 rebounds, and even the 2 baskets he's got, he just worked hard to get offensive rebounds.
Well, Dan, they haven't been able to get him the ball.
Yep.
He hasn't been able to get good post position against that zone. See, back it out now. Use the clock. Smart. Good basketball IQ. You're playing the number 2 team in America. They got better talent. You must shorten the game.
Goins, another basket.
Are you serious? I mean, is he supposed to be that good?
The 2 point guards who never play together, Mays and Goins, have combined for 23 points in this game.
They want to be big man on campus down in Oxford.
Bledsoe answers with a triple.
He's been quiet all night. They're going to get Bledsoe going. Crowd's alive. Here comes the Kentucky faithful. They're jumping out of their seats. Oh, they're passionate here, baby. They love their cats. They love their cats. And you and I, 3 weeks in a row, it's been fun.
It's been great. 3 great environments. The balls don't appear to be rattled. They're executing what Bruce Pearl told us was the game plan to perfection thus far. Goins, not this time. Rebound Patterson.
Oh, here he comes. This is his game. Run, baby, run.
Pulls up. And a little strong. McBee lost it. And then fouls Cousins.
Going to take a look at Goins right now. He's making like an Allen Houston kind of shooter. There he is, hitting the jumper. And then Mr. Bledsoe comes down and says, hey, I'm a type of dandy, baby. Squares his body.
And that was the first assist of the night for Wall on that shot by Bledsoe as Cousins heads back to the free throw line where he just missed a pair. Man-sized talent, but John Calipari will tell you he's still a kid. He's still emotional. He's still immature at times. He's still trying to figure things out. And there's the emotion right there.
He's frustrated.
That can be the undoing of DeMarcus Cousins.
I think as he gets older, you're going to see that minimized a little bit more. John Calipari working on him psychologically about that. There's strong rumors that he is going to come back to school. I mean, that's what we're hearing from everybody.
Projected as a high lottery pick already. Makes the second.
Kentucky's won 16 in a row here at Rupp. Longest current win streak. Down there at the Allen Fieldhouse. Rock Chalk Jayhawk, 56 in a row. Siena with 34 in a row. Talk about a shock the other night. What about Penn with 3 wins? Beats Cornell.
By 15.
By 15.
Wow.
Well, they came back, they won today. They beat Princeton, who was undefeated in the conference.
Dick, we've had 7 ties and 9 lead changes in this game here at Rupp.
See, as long as the score is close, he can keep this style of play.
Great pass by Prince. Chisholm, no. And the follow for Ronaldo Woolridge.
As Woolridge active on the glass. His father was a good offensive rebounder.
Liggins. Patterson. The threes become a weapon for him this year.
Well, he's got good touchdown. He really does. Good rotation. Oh, this crowd is waiting for a spurt. You can just feel they're waiting for a spurt. Will it happen, or will Tennessee be able to go all game long, take it to the wire? There you are, using that shot clock, just as he designed for us before the game.
Going under 10 again.
He was the architect of his game plan.
Backdoor cut. Goins for the layup. Tennessee back on top.
What about the performance by Goins?
A career high 13.
Making big shots, big plays, and doing it within the realm of their game plan.
No question.
See, he doesn't like this.
No.
He's not going to have to worry about this next year in the NBA. I'll tell you that. With the 24-second clock. See, we're not seeing the real John Wall. And that's the zone, and Tennessee's strategy has really made him an average player tonight.
Cousins. Tennessee ball. Prince controls. Offensive foul, wave it off.
That's the third one tonight that's been waved off on a charge.
Tennessee leads by 1, getting a huge performance from backup point guard Melvin Goins tonight here in Lexington.
All eyes on me. I'm hitting 2s, I'm busting 3s. Pass me the.
Welcome back to Raucous Rupp Arena here in Lexington, and welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Tennessee 49, Kentucky 48. On the eve of Valentine's Day, somebody here had a sign for you. They wanted you to be there. There it is.
Oh!
There's your
What does she look like? What does she look like? Get the sign away from her face. Come on. I'm taking my wife. She's my Valentine. 38 years.
Wow.
Can you imagine living with me for 38 years?
No.
Sainthood. Absolutely, she
Yes,
deserves sainthood.
yes.
Tomorrow I take her for breakfast after church. We go to the Broken Egg, have breakfast. Then we go to dinner at Andrea's. You got to try Andrea's in Sarasota.
Right.
And then we're going to go see Gladys Knight, a little Motown
Nice
sound.
day. Tell me what Kentucky has to do to make it a happy Valentine's Day for Coach Calipari. They still look like they're really struggling to how to figure out this zone.
Well, you know, number one, they've had 7 close calls this year. In those close calls, in many of those games, the number of possessions was reduced, just like it is here. Set play. Set play. Mr. Wall with the catch. Set play. Great call during the timeout. Right over the top of the zone, diagonally. They have not been able to utilize their defense to force the turnover to get transition done.
Chisholm wide open and misses the 3. Woolridge with a rebound, misses the putback.
Great effort on the glass.
And Prince lays it up and in. Prince is having a terrific night tonight, scoring, rebounding, assists, the whole deal.
Tell you one thing, he looks like Tayshaun, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He looks like Tayshaun
Yep.
when he wore the white uniform for Kentucky. There he is right there. Great move by Prince. Now you're going to see the diagonal pass over the top of the wall. The great elevation. That's what separates him from a lot of guards. He's got 1 assist tonight. Had 2 against Alabama, and he's second in the nation to Ronnie Moore, who plays for Siena.
Meanwhile, J.P. Prince now with 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists as Tennessee goes back on top. The 14th lead change in this game.
Tell you one thing, he's filling up that stat sheet.
He is. Mays back in for Goins at the point. Kentucky turns it over. It is one of their weaknesses. They turn it over about 16 times per game, and they're at 12 right now.
Mays leads the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio.
Prince too strong. Rebound Wiggins. Numbers now.
That's how they like to play.
Oh, he missed it.
He missed the layup. But that's their style of play. Run, baby, run. He'll do that 100 times, 99 will convert. That's the one time he didn't convert.
Wall missing on the alley-oop from Bledsoe.
There's Bledsoe flipping it up to his buddy. And he hits the back of the iron. It was my problem when I played. Hit the back of the iron too much. Cousins got 1 point here in the second half.
And Kentucky's only got 6 fast break points in the game. That's got to thrill Bruce Pearl.
It's got to thrill them also. They're not able to hit the perimeter shot over the top of that zone. A lot of getting the gaps in that zone.
There's a good pass inside. Offensive foul on Cousins.
I don't know there's any doubt about that call.
Number 3. Frustrating night for the big fella. Aaron, what do you got?
Well, in one of the last timeouts, DeMarcus Cousins came over to the huddle, and he was visibly upset. John Calipari spent most of that timeout just instructing him, trying to get him to calm down, even telling him, DeMarcus, just slow down a little bit because it's affecting you at the free throw line. Also, Dan, Patrick Patterson, John Calipari's been screaming at him even though he's on the bench right now. Every ball you have to get.
That's John Wall. That's John Wall, my friends. Aaron, that's John Wall. Going coast to coast, taking the ball to the rack. Super speed, quickness.
Prince really become the leader in this game for Tennessee. Dumps it down to Chisholm, who misses in close.
Chisholm has to convert that inside. I know he's battling that ankle injury. Now this guy's starting to go to the rack, man. He's starting to go to the rack.
And he draws the foul.
Seems like he's turned on another gear.
Yep.
He's turned on another gear. Take a look at him right here now. He's going to split the lap. There he is, the strong left hand dribble, and he goes to the right hand.
Wow. You ever seen anybody faster coast to coast?
I'm going to tell you, he's unbelievable. He's going to be a terrific NBA guard.
And has been considered the likely #1 pick in the NBA draft from the moment the season began. Some thought he might have been the #1 pick last year if he'd been able to go right out of high school. Cousins is going to the bench now for Kentucky. Orton back in. Brian Williams makes his first appearance of the night for Tennessee as Chisholm sits down.
Bill, you mentioned about going out of high school. I think it's a crime that the kids who want to go to the NBA, who are ready for the NBA, and you force them to go to school for 1 year. I mean, they don't want to be in school. Why force them? I think the one-and-done rule is a joke. I think it's a fraud. I think it doesn't have any sense whatsoever for the current student-athlete. I would love to see it be pushed aside.
Wall has scored the last 6 points for Kentucky. The Cats up by 2. Stolen away by Liggins.
Liggins with a good defensive play in the jam. It's getting a little danger time now for Tennessee. It's getting a little danger time. They can't lose their poise now and start playing at a fast pace. They'll be playing right in the hands of Kentucky. They got to quiet this momentum, though, by getting a score out of this possession.
Hobson, Prince, offensive foul.
Uncle Mo has arrived. Uncle Mo has arrived at Rupp. And it's in the white uniform, my friends. John Wall gave him the spark. And you expect that out of an All-American.
6 consecutive points for Wall. Starting to speed around Tennessee defenders. Kentucky has the lead. Interrupt. #2 Kentucky has gotten all they can handle from the tenacious Tennessee Volunteers. Down 4 right now, and this is only after a Kentucky spurt really generated by John Wall.
Yeah, John Wall really created that. One of the ways to beat a zone, coaches constantly preach to kids, especially when you got a player of Wall's stature, is to beat it in transition. Beat it before it sets up.
Lob inside for Cousins, who's just returned to the game. He spins and is fouled hard by Williams.
That was a terrific move. What a post move he made right there.
That's really the first time we've seen him catch in the post and to make a move. Everything else has been on the offensive glass.
Yeah, because they haven't gotten the ball in deep. They've done a great job, Tennessee, keeping the ball away from them.
And this has been one of the frustrating things for Cousins tonight. He's 1 for 5 now from the free throw line. Williams out, Chisholm back in for the Vols.
7 straight double-doubles, averaging 19 points and 12 rebounds in that stretch. Looks like a double-double is going to come to an end tonight.
Missed another. 1 for 6. Kentucky foul. Liggins.
You know, you mentioned Liggins. He's given him quite a spark. A little bit defensively, and he scored 7 points, 7 key points, because you don't look for him for point production.
So Kentucky comes up empty. Back comes Tennessee. Rowans recovers.
Yeah, one thing Tennessee this year defensively only giving up 63 points a game.
Here comes Wall again.
He's at his best, baby. Right here.
And a foul.
I love Villanova. They really give up points on the board. The only question mark, size and defense. Because after a while, you rely on scoring 90 and 85 all the time. It's pretty tough against quality competition. Connecticut, it's been a real mystery. When you talk about disappointments this year, certainly Connecticut and North Carolina have to head that list. Tar Heels back with a win today.
Yeah, beat NC State today. And Mike Krzyzewski got a win today on his birthday in what was also the 1,000th career game for him coaching at Duke.
23 years old, right?
Hobson. Another turnover, another opportunity.
There's the run. There's the running game. Beat the zone before it starts up. Get it to Yo, baby. He better get it to Yo.
Gonna let him play.
And Gamo has really swung. And they're dancing in the aisles. The Cats fans.
Orton called for the foul.
Okay, John Wall in transition is dynamite. He really is. Just a dynamite player in the transition game. There he is kicking it out to his buddy Bledsoe. Bledsoe gets the easy layup.
You know who's given him a spark, and he was the guy who started that eventual turnover. DeAndre Liggins has done some good things tonight.
Absolutely. 7 points, some good defensive maneuvers.
This matches the largest lead of the game for Kentucky. Count the basket. Goaltending is the call, says Antonio Petty. John Calipari didn't agree.
He's in a perfect job, perfect place. They couldn't find a better guy here other than one other. His name was Rick Pitino. But right now, let me tell you, Calipari's the perfect hire for Kentucky.
He loves the intensity, the microscope, the passion, all that stuff. He loves all of that about Lexington.
And he loves to get great players.
McBee can shoot it.
They needed that three. Good offensive rebound.
And you know what? Tennessee just beat Kentucky down the floor. A couple of Cats never got over half court, one of them being Cousins.
See, again, this is what you got to do to Kentucky. Make them face you. Make them have to face you. Not getting out in the lanes, running.
Nice pass, open man, Bledsoe, got it.
Wide open. I would love to get that shot. Are you serious? A wide open, nobody rotating out of the zone. You stay with them, you challenge them, and then they find a way with a little spurt to get himself to the winner's circle.
10 for Bledsoe now, all of them here in the second half. Tennessee remains patient. Woolridge. Rebound, Cousins. 10th rebound of the night for DeMarcus Cousins. Only got 5 points as he's working on a streak of 7 straight double-doubles.
He wants the big screen up on top.
Under 5 minutes to go now. Bledsoe again.
Just like he did against Florida, against the Gators. They can hurt you with so many weapons, whether it be a Bledsoe, a Wall, a little dynamite, diaper dandy backcourt. They got all those famous racehorses in this city, man. And they got some famous basketball players as well. Oh, they love their Cats. Oh, they love it. You can feel the unbelievable emotion and passion they have for their team. Leaving it off.
No basket. Got a foul before the shot. Going against Cousins. Number 4 on DeMarcus Cousins. Team's 6, so no free throws yet for Tennessee. Orton back in. Cousins will come back out, pleading his case with the officials as he goes.
He's going to plead now with John Calipari. He said, come on, coach, put me on the floor. Oh, there he's throwing down the... See, he's got to control that stuff. That's just immature behavior. And he's too good a player. He's got so much talent, such a future. Incredible. You'd hate to see him waste it all with one emotional moment.
Liggins the steal, and he gets the timeout call.
Liggins has done a phenomenal job off that bench. I respect the kid that lost all his playing time and came back and fought and earned his P2.
How about Bledsoe?
Yes, sir. Bledsoe says, hey, I can play too, man. Just ask some of the NBA scouts. I can play.
Knocking down a couple of threes here this half. Kentucky's up by 10. Kentucky on a 16-4 run right now. They got a 10-point lead, 4:34 to go here in the second half. As we check out the SEC standings and the significance of this game, Kentucky came in as the leaders of the SEC East, which is by far the stronger division within the Southeastern Conference. And a win tonight by Kentucky would put them to 9-1. Tennessee would drop to 6-4. Big game coming up. You're going to be there Saturday, 6 p.m. on ESPN. Kentucky at Vanderbilt. That's a strong team the Commodores have.
Yeah, they really did with Ogilvie and certainly with Taylor and Beal. And Kevin Stallings gets the most out of his people. I got the Memorial Magic. Brad Nessler and I look forward to that along with Aaron Andrews. Hey, John Calipari's going for his 5th straight 30-win season. Not 20-win, 30-win season.
John Wall with a big second half. He's got 20. Eric Bledsoe with all 13 of his points in the second half. And the foul on Prince.
He's also trying to be the second coach to take 3 schools to the Final Four.
Don't foul, says Bruce Pearl.
The other coach, obviously, Rick Pitino.
Keeps coming back. That theme keeps coming back again tonight. 4th on Prince. 2 shots the rest of the way for the Wildcats.
This game turned around on the one spurt where John Wall elevated his game in transition.
Frustrating night for Cousins.
He's really got to work on that maturity and controlling those emotions. He has an incredible upside, and you'd hate to see it be destroyed.
Bledsoe has scored the last 10 points for Kentucky. Prince with a floater, wide right, rebound Patterson.
Good aggressive rebound by Patterson.
Bledsoe. And a good decision. Very good decision making there.
And they bring it back out to the maestro man. Makes music. He's an orchestra leader. Number 11, John Wall. They're going to try to find him on a wing.
And the clock is their ally right now. 3:40 to go, 7 on the shot clock, away from the ball, and an offensive foul.
Look at John Calipari. You believe they're down about 10. They're down about 10, but that's what makes him a winner.
Daniel Orton called for the foul. Kentucky up a dozen trying to hold off the tenacious Volunteers here tonight. Well, this morning, Dick, better than 22,000 people here but are up for game day. Tonight, better than 24,000 people here for the game, and they have seen what they've seen a lot of this year, and that's some freshmen putting up some pretty great numbers.
Well, they lead the nation in attendance, and right now, here's a look at the Diaper Dandies, the best in the nation. 3 dynamite players. Certainly Cousins has struggled offensively tonight, but he's still got 10 rebounds. Bledsoe big in his second half. John Wall gave him that incredible spark. And he is right there catching the alley-oop, the jam. Take a look at Cousins now working on the glass. He is with a jam, good offensive rebound, big and strong. And Mr. Bledsoe, he made some big plays. There's one in transition, and he made some big threes.
Wall and Bledsoe proving, Dick, even though they're both lead guards with huge reputations, they've proven that they've got the ability to play together on the court.
They're winners. They just know how to win, and he's done a great job teaching them that, John Calipari. Hey, they have not allowed an opponent to shoot 50% this year. The best was Miami of Ohio, shot 47 against them.
And 38% for Tennessee tonight.
And that's what they normally hold clubs to, 38% Kentucky and 65 points a game. And that's what John Calipari, I think, has done a masterful job getting his kids to commit to play defense. So many times you get these young, ballyhooed superstars, big reputations. They don't buy into it, but they bought into him. And I'll tell you what, if they don't buy into it, they're sitting on a pile.
Yep, because he's got options. He's got talent.
They'll always have talent here. And that was the difference right now. We broke this game open. Bruce Pearl did a magnificent job coaching strategy, keeping them in the game, but ultimately, too much manpower, too much talent.
Under 3 to go. Patterson. Look at Cousins.
He's fighting. I'll tell you, he does scrap.
He's got a hunger for the basketball off the glass, doesn't he?
He has a hunger similar to years ago. A young man by the name of Moses Malone, the way he went after every rebound like it was his last meal.
Frustrating night for Cousins, as we mentioned on a number of occasions, but he got a little love there from his head coach after that effort.
Tell you one thing, the final score may not be indicative of how tough this game was.
No question. For about 32 minutes, it was neck and neck, back and forth. Boy, still can't knock down the free throws. Let's check in with Aaron.
No, Cousins very frustrated with that. Hey, when I was talking to Bruce Pearl yesterday about DeMarcus Cousins, he said he is the best big man in the SEC since Shaquille O'Neal. And what's funny about that, as he misses another free throw, is John Calipari says the difference with him is there's no Shaq attack effect. He makes his free throws, maybe just not tonight.
Yeah, 66% on the season, 1 for 8 tonight, Dick.
Yeah, he's better than Shaq on a free throw. When you look at 66%, tonight he's making like Shaq. Shaq was a pretty good free throw shooter on a collegiate level.
Boy, Tennessee just lost John Wall on the inbounds.
That's the easiest deuce he can get.
Bruce Pearl wants a timeout.
Tell you one thing, Tyler Smith let down not only himself, his family, his team, but most of all himself. I mean, really sad what he has done to himself and what he has done to everybody involved with him who's been rooting for him. As a look at Wall, simple layup.
Well, Dick, we're seeing a couple of them here tonight. 2 of the great freshmen, really 3 of the great freshmen in the country. If you had to pick your top 5 diaper dandies, who you got?
Oh, wow, you put me on the spot all the time. My diaper dandies. Wow, what about Avery Bradley down in Texas? They've been a little bit on a slide. Mr. Henry's not bad down in Kansas. Mr. Favors at Georgia Tech lived up to his reputation. There's Mr. Cousins, strong as can be, and my favorite of them all, John Wall.
Pretty good group, huh?
Yep. You know, I'm talking about Tyler Smith, and an incident was like New Year's Eve. 4 of them arrested, drugs, alcohol, and you know, you have drugs, alcohol, and guns in a car.
Yep.
I mean, that's just a formula for a disaster. A disaster.
Smith dismissed, 3 other players suspended, although all charges were dismissed yesterday against Goins. He still sat out 4 games until they got that resolved.
You know, you look at the SEC, I just clicked on to my VBDI, since this game's a little out of hand. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Vandy are going to be in. And then Florida gets beat by Xavier, got Mississippi, Mississippi State, and even South Carolina outside shot if they get on a run.
Sports Center next here on ESPN. A Kentucky foul.
Florida, Mississippi, and
Just out of bounds. Just out of bounds to Tennessee. The ball out of bounds off the Wildcats as Stephen Pearl went into the first row.
You know, Florida, Mississippi, and Mississippi State still have to do some winning.
Yeah.
It's all Kentucky right now. All Kentucky. Fans gave him a big lift as well.
Time now for tonight's Game Track, brought to you by Cisco, as Kentucky is on a 20-4 run right now in a game that was close for so long. John Wall big in the second half. Eric Bledsoe big in the second half. And DeMarcus Cousins not scoring, not knocking down his free throws, but 12 rebounds and really working hard on the glass all night long.
You know, Dan, I look at John Wall, I look at Cousins. I was thinking over when I flew over here about freshman combinations. And the only 2 I can think of that matches them in terms of productivity goes back, as you see a dunk there, goes back to the days of the Fab Five with Jalen Rose and Chris Webber.
Yep.
I mean, give me another combination of 2 freshmen together as good as Wall and Cousins have been.
And Bledsoe's not a bad number 3.
Exactly.
Yep. The dunk there for Scotty Hobson. So Kentucky with a win tonight will go to 24-1 on the season, 9-1 in the SEC. Their only loss all year at South Carolina. They have beaten some teams with big reputations, but they're kind of having down years, although they were playing better a little bit earlier. They beat North Carolina, beat Connecticut, beat Louisville, and so forth. As Prince is fouled out, they've still got to go to Vandy, and they've still got to go to Tennessee before the end of the regular season.
Interesting to get down there to that Vandy game. Nashville, a great city, and Vanderbilt certainly has some talent as well. When you look at Beal and Taylor and Ogilvy, they got that unique setup in the Memorial Field House.
Benches at the end, right?
Yes, sir.
Among the best, like Kansas and Kentucky are doing here tonight.
That's where the Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim gave a chance to a young guy by the name of Rick Pitino. Got his first opportunity coaching at Syracuse. And the rest is going to take him to Springfield, Mass.
Mays now with 13. He and Goins, the 2 point guards, have combined for 27 points tonight for Tennessee.
Hey, unbeaten in league play right now. So far you got Kansas, Butler, Morgan State, Murray State, and Sam Houston State. The only unbeaten teams in league play.
Final minute here at Rupp.
Current win streaks, Butler with 15, Murray State 15, Syracuse 11 and Morgan State 11. Get all the goodies out now when it's over. Get all the goodies out.
That's some goodies right there from John Wall.
Absolutely. My grandson's got a picture with him earlier tonight.
24 now for Wall as Mays is fouled on the drive. So where do the 24-1 Wildcats head from here after this on the verge of a home win over Tennessee tonight? Some tough road games coming up.
Yeah, Mississippi State will not be easy. Down at Starkville, they'll be all fired up. I mean, anytime you go on the road in college, basically you're looking for a tough time. And those are pretty good teams, especially the Vanderbilt game. Hey, you know what? We went in the locker room before Kentucky players arrived. I took my grandsons in there, Connor and Jake, and guess what John Wall had right in the front of his locker?
Right.
Bananas. Bananas. He told me one game before the Florida game, I did it with Brad Nelson. I went over and said, Brad, you're not going to believe it. He just told me he ate 9 bananas.
Wow.
9.
Well, remember he had the cramping problems when we were in New York, had cramps in the legs?
Well, I'll tell you, they had the bananas right there in the locker waiting for him.
Shot clock turned off. The Wildcats had to earn it tonight. Tennessee executed their game plan as well as they could for as long as they could. But as you said, at the end of the night, just too much talent for the Wildcats.
Too much John Wall. Then he went on one spurt when he really attacked the basket. That set the tone. And another W for John Calipari. The right choice, the right man for Kentucky basketball.
So Kentucky wins 73-62 to go to 24-1 on the season. And Tennessee will drop to 18-6 with this loss. They'll meet again about 3 weeks from now in Knoxville. Kentucky a game up on Vanderbilt Saturday, 6 p.m. You'll be there. Kentucky at Vandy 1 week from today in another big-time game in the SEC. John Wall finishes with 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists tonight. And Dick did a lot of his best work in the second half.
Yeah, he really did. I thought his best work was when he started to attack the basket, picked up the tempo of the game, and that's where he excels. In transition, explode into the basket. There he is with an alley-oop, set play. Bledsoe delivered the rock to him. Good defensive play right there, taking a charge.
Let's go to Aaron Andrews now, EA.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. Here with John Calipari and John Wall. Coach, I'll start with you. Tennessee hung tough until you guys went on that spurt. What was key to going in that?
Well, I think we were better in our zone offense, what we were trying to do. And I'll be honest with you, they went 3-2 and we weren't real prepared for it, and that's on me. But I think these young kids hung in there, and at halftime they listened. And, we got a lot of help from Daniel Orton, Perry Stevenson. He played his butt off, ran the court, and then how about Eric Bledsoe? I mean, all of a sudden, he comes out of nowhere, which is what we expect from him.
I'm laughing because you always know my second question. What is it like having two guards like John and Eric that can come out and take control in the second?
It's fun. I'm having a ball coaching them. Let me just say that. Having a ball.
All right, I'm going to talk to John now. How much fun are you having right now?
Oh, I'm having a lot of fun, Like Coach said, we didn't go over the offense as much, so at halftime he went over in the board and showed us that what we had to do, the key to it. And we started making defensive stops, and when we got the ball inside, we started scoring and making shots.
What's the key in having two guards like yourself and Eric make it work so easily like we saw in the second half?
Oh, it's a big plus because if you're going to key in on me, he can drive just like me, and you see he started making shots for us. So if you're going to key in on me, Eric can get it going. So to have two good point guards like in the backcourt is great. So he's making the job a lot easier for me.
All right, man, great show this weekend. Go eat some bananas, okay? All right.
Well, Wall and Bledsoe combined for 40 points.